guys, how you doing? It's the Car Crazy Guy from Santa Clarita. Today's video will be a little bit different as we'll be shooting in the garage. So we have a little darker area to work with here. And today I'm just showcasing the new headlights. No, they look the same. Can't see nothing here, but you definitely can see in here. Something's a bit different here. And let's go ahead and show you. Now what I did recently was bought the Diodynamics SL1 headlamps for both the low beam and high beam, as well as the fog lamps. You can see that there. Hopefully we get a good shot. I also upgraded my bow tie, and I know it probably doesn't look much different than it did before, as you can see. However, check this out. It lights up. Now here's the low beams. It's hard to really show you on video because there's a lot of glare, but I'll show you what it looks like on the wall. Now the beam patterns look pretty close to the original incandescent bulbs. I'm pretty pleased with them. I've driven them at night. I don't know if I can show you at night what they look like because right now it's daytime, so we'll see if we can get one in there. If not, what you see is what you get. They just shut off. I'll also show you the high beams as well, so let me go ahead and start the car and turn those on. Now you're going to see a little bit of flickering here, but I assure you, in person there's absolutely no flickering. What you're seeing is the refresh rate of the camera, so don't worry, I'm not going to asphyxiate myself here, but they are really bright. I totally love them. Fog lights, they are not on, so let's go ahead and turn those on. Just go ahead and push this button right here. Wait, they're not on. I'm gonna have to diagnose that little issue here. That's right, they're not on for a reason. I forgot, the high beams are on, so you gotta turn the high beams off and go ahead and push this button again, and voila, we have the fog lamps. So you can see the actual beam pattern, highs, or I'm sorry, lows in the fog lights. And you can see here quite a bit of glare, but the white light is pretty white, I should say. Looks pretty fantastic. Give you another shot of the bow tie. This is the wall of my garage. Let me go ahead and shut the car down and proceed. I'll attempt to show you how these install. I'm not going to take it apart because it's really a pain in the neck. But here's the high beam. And you unscrew the cap, replace the bulb. You have to feed the driver in there. It's a little small, little gray box, and you have to sort of get it in there and position it so that you can screw the cap on. That was the hard part. Now the low beam is, I don't even know if you, there it is, right down, right there. So you got the low, you got the high, kind of a headache. I'll show you the, pardon that noise. The high beam, or the passenger side is a headache because you have to unscrew this, pull, and there's a clip down here somewhere, pull these lines off over here, get rid of that stuff, and then peel this thing back. Headache. It's all, unfortunately, it's hidden behind there. So anyways, the job itself wasn't terrible. What made it difficult, the low beams weren't too hard at all. It was the high beams that I had difficulty with. The main problem with the high beams were, and I will zoom in and see if you can actually see it, but you'll see the little black ring that is part of the bulb. Unfortunately, the bulb, when I got them from Diodynamics, the bulb itself, that little black part, wasn't perfectly round. It was oblong. So, and I found that out after purchasing some digital calipers. When I measured them, they were wider on one part than the other, so I had to contact them, and they told me, well, you might be able to file them down. I said, well, okay, you know, if it doesn't work out, how are we going to proceed from there? And they said, well, you know, I'm sure we could replace them. So I gave it a shot. I had bought some digital calipers from Harbor Freight, and I measured the stock bulb and got the dimensions of those, and then I started to file them down with a small file. Little by little, after checking it with the digital calipers, I got them into spec, and they actually went in perfectly fine. I had to do that to both sides, so it was kind of a hassle. The drivers, like I mentioned before, is a small box, and you could probably see those drivers if you go online and look at them on dioddynamics.com. And you can look at the SL1s and see that. Now, these have heat sinks and fans, where the fog lamps just have heat sinks. There's no fan in there. So you can hear some fan noise though. Let me demonstrate what it sounds like here. Don't think you're gonna hear it over my air conditioning. It's so hot out here, I wouldn't even think about turning the AC off, because the house will overheat. So it makes a real high-pitched little whine. It's not too bad. Actually, you know, when the motor's running, you're not gonna hear it. It's real subtle. So it's not a big deal. But yeah, the biggest part was getting them in there. It's very awkward, and it's hard to reach things, and you know how it is. The truck is tall, you know, it's about my chest height here. Yeah, or so. But managed to get everything together, tested it before I put it all back together, and then when you put the driver in, it slides in the opening there, and then the way the cap goes in, it has to line up with the indents on the cap to the housing, and if you don't get it right, it just won't line up. And I played with it forever, and finally I got them in. So that was good. The fog lights were really easy. They just clip in. It has two little tabs you release, and they just basically pop out. Pretty simple. These are the SLFs. I believe these are H11s, and these are 9005s. However, I'll put a link in the description. So they came out pretty nice. Unfortunately, this thing was a headache, because I didn't want to take the bumper off, because that's what's recommended. Take the bumper off, remove the grill. You have to drill a hole, which is essentially right in the center of the bow tie. I measured it out. I used the old bow tie as a template. I took the plastic off. It's just got plastic rivets. And let's see if I can find that. And here are the rivets are, well, they would have been there. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I drilled a hole here in the center. I put it on. I broke the tabs off for a reason, so that I wouldn't have to go through all the headaches of removing them. And these are the locating pins right here. And here's the hole I drilled, perfectly in the center. However, when I test fit it, and I drilled the hole, I think it's a 1/2 inch hole in the center of the piece here, inside here, right directly in the center. It didn't line up. So, and there's also a rib, which is located about center point. So the rib, as you're drilling it out, it's actually whittling away the rib, and I'm sorry I can't show you, but maybe I can. We'll see. Anyways, finally, I had to file it out a little bit larger to enlarge it. It even says if it doesn't line up, enlarge the hole. Well, so I got the file out, and I'm filing away, and the file pulls out, and right underneath here, scratches it. Light scratch, a little hairline scratch. I've got a black, not a Sharpie, but a tester's paint pen. I just slightly dabbed on the scratch and rubbed it, and it blended it, and to tell you the truth, you can't even see it. So I'll get you a shot of the wiring. So the wiring itself, you know, you have to disconnect your headlight plug, and let me go ahead and turn the light plug back on. Well, it's right there. To pull that red tab back, squeeze the little black part that's in front of it, and since you can't get your hands in there, it's a real headache, let me tell you. Because what you have to do is it comes with a harness. So you unplug that from the headlamp, you take the harness, plug it in, and you plug the existing wiring back into that. It just basically creates a tap. I ran the wiring And let's see here. You could probably see it. It's right there. Let's see if I can get a view of it here. It's that black little wire going in that hole. It's hard to see. Now you can see it now, actually. The light keeps blinding it, but it's right there, right in front of the tank. There's a hole up top, and there's a hole, and you can see it going in there. So routed it in the hole, and essentially just sort of pushed all the wiring down inside this cavity here. Again, there's really no way to let you see it, but eventually it came back up, and it came right through here. So I fed it all the way across here and into here, which, you know, I like to do neat jobs, so I use this split loom tubing to sort of cover the existing wiring from the bow tie plug to the actual connector, which is somewhere, I don't know, around here somewhere where it ties together. But then you have to repin the bow tie. So let's see if we can see that in there. Let's see if the camera will make it down there. It's a difficult one here. Don't think you're gonna be able to see it, but anyways, if you follow the corrugated plastic, it ends up way down there. So I managed to do this. All the wiring loom ends up in the cavity in here, and then it comes through here into the cavity. All the excess wiring is inside here. Then it comes back up here and goes all the way across. And then of course it ends up right here. And you can see instead of seeing bare wiring, I use the split loom tubing. Comes right to here. Let's see if we can show you the little scratch, which is pretty insignificant. And it's not even easy to see. Even I can't see it. Oh, that's right. It is right about there. Right in here. Right in front of my finger. Hard to see, actually. Can't even see it. That's what I get for being a perfectionist. So that was okay. You know, let's face it, cars are on the road and things are always bumping up against them. So got that all together, and a lot of roadblocks with that one. It was a real pain in the neck. I'm glad it's over with and done. I didn't have to take the bumper off, go through all that nonsense. It's just a pain in the neck. But so basically, recap, got the lighted bow tie, the low beam, the high beams, and the fog's done, finally. Of course, the rears, they were never removed because I removed the original yellow ones and installed it. So I had the clip-on black non-illuminated bow tie and the brand new one that came in the kit, because it gives you a rear one because it assumes you have the yellow one, so you can replace the back one, and of course it gives you the front one. So I had the old black bow tie, which I popped off and didn't break the tabs, luckily, and I'm actually selling that on eBay. So if you're interested, I'll put the item number in the link below as well, or link it, or title it. And I have a brand new rear bow tie that's never been used because it came with that, and essentially the old bow tie was popped off. So this one here is a little bit thicker. It sticks out a little bit more because the other one was a little bit more flush. And I'm assuming it's because you obviously need the area to stick out because this is where it's illuminated. So overall, pretty happy with it. On the Honda, I'll give you an update. It started out as something very simple and it became kind of a headache. So as you knew before from the previous video, we had an issue where the paint actually chipped off. So when they redid it, inside here in the inner part, right at the edge where the two pieces meet, they went ahead and they taped off this whole line, and you could see it. It was like that from the factory. And the only difference now, this is the end result here, is there's just this little tiny line. This little line should have come straight across and over. They probably could have wet sanded it and smoothed it out, but I guess without having to repaint the whole bumper, I guess I'm pretty satisfied with it. But before, they had it okay to about here, and then this line here dipped down lower. It looked ridiculous, and then they had touch-up paint globbed in right inside there, and it looked terrible. I have some photos. We'll see if we can get that in there as well. But when you back away with it, and I'm only literally a foot away from this thing, we'll zoom out, put it back to normal. 1 foot away, there's nothing to see. Looks perfect. So that was the lesser of two evils. And you know what? I get this way sometimes. When something bothers me, sometimes I just want to bail on the whole deal here, meaning sell this car. I don't want to sell this car. I love the car. It's fantastic. If push comes to shove and something happens to that again, I'm going to purchase a brand new bumper. I'm going to have it refinished by a quality body shop, bring the car to them. They can remove all the sensors and all the pieces of the bumper and grill pieces, put it back together and put it on the car and just chuck this bumper. Because once it starts getting messed up like that and trying to refinish it, I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can save it. Maybe they can. Maybe I wouldn't even have to bother. Just let them refinish it. But the end result is painting it and a new bumper is probably $1,000. And if I want to bail on this car, I'm going to lose more than $1,000, a lot more. And I want to keep this car at least a couple of years, at least 2. That's, of course, unless things elevate financially and there's something out there that's just way better that sparks my interest. So I'm thinking we'll leave it like this for now. There's nothing to really see. Everything looks great. There's nothing troublesome that any person that looked at it before would notice what I see, but anybody who's never seen it wouldn't notice anything. They wouldn't even have a clue anything even happened to it. It looks that good. So that said, the only other issue I had here with this Honda is normally when you select a destination on your navigation, what happens is it puts it on your heads-up display, and also in your instrument cluster, if you select the navigation option, it shows pretty much the same things. Well, for some bizarre reason last night when I was using it, nothing was coming up on the instrument panel, on the LCD portion of the instrument cluster, and nothing on the heads-up display. So I did a factory reset on the infotainment system, and once that reset, it worked perfect. So I don't know what happened with that. That's just kind of strange. But no visit to the dealer necessary. Car runs great. I don't plan on tuning it. I don't want to deal with all the hassles and headaches and problems that go along with it. It's just not worth it. So it's just going to be left alone. I'm probably not going to tint the chrome pieces. It's the touring model. Chrome is part of the luxurious feel of it. But I totally like the way it looks. I didn't really like the existing grill, and I think this grill just looks fantastic. All right, I appreciate everybody coming and watching my videos. I've been very pleased to see that on the last video I've had around 23,000 views. On the previous one, a little over 83,000 views, which blows my mind. So once again, I appreciate everybody coming, subscribing, liking, commenting, whether it's good or bad. I would appreciate if you would keep it kind. If you have something to say, that's fine. That's not a problem if you have something negative to say, but being nasty and mean is just uncalled for. So again, it's the Car Crazy Guy from Santa Clarita, and I'll leave you with a shot of the beautiful Accord and this grill. If you want an Accord, comment. If you bought one of these guys, if you went with the chrome or the black chrome, I went with the chrome, just sort of match the accents of the rest of the car. But in hindsight, yeah, I guess it wouldn't have been bad if I went with the black chrome. So take it easy, and I'll see you on the next video.